Hey everyone, it's Andre Luck. I'm here with my video for this week where I'm going to talk about getting started with your B2B sales and marketing strategy. So I've had the opportunity over the past few weeks to speak with a number of teams, some of my colleagues across the sports industry, about B2B sales and their strategy, their processes, things that work for them, things that aren't. And I continue to come across, two key findings. One, everyone sees a big opportunity on the B2B sales and marketing side, but two, the challenge is they're like, all right, where do you get started? And I've been talking and brainstorming and taking some best practices. So for those of you who are looking to either execute or implement or down the road want to start looking at, doing B2B sales and marketing, specifically in sports, I want to talk through the steps to get started and what that looks like to get launched. So starting out, I think the first thing you have to do is look at your current data set. So work with your business analytics team, look at some of the sales marketing numbers, how have your campaigns performed, what's working well, what products are selling. And if you can, have sophisticated enough data in your CRM system where you can look at certain campaigns in different buyer segments. So, B2C versus B2B, but looking specifically at your business accounts, what's working well, what's not working well, so you can get a good take there of like, all right, here's what's working well, let's lean more into that. Here's what's not working as we look to scale up and ramp up our B2B efforts. Maybe we scale down or cut some of those efforts, but really lean into what's working. Then after you've got a good data set, you've looked at the performance, you looked at what campaigns are working and what not working, you'll want to speak with your current clients. So get a subset of all different types of clients, different spend levels, if it's B2B specific, different industries, different use cases, and, interview them, set up Zoom calls, meet with them in person, and go through different questions with them just to understand how they're experiencing your product. What do they enjoy about it? What's the value that it's bringing to their company when they made the decision? What ultimately made the decision for them to purchase, and how are they seeing an ROI from that? What benefits do they enjoy the most? What improvements or things would they like to see that you're not delivering on? So you take all that data, take those insights, take the customer feedback, and start to frame, your go-to-market strategy. So what's the value proposition that you're going to be sharing in your marketing messages when your sales team's out selling and reaching out to new prospects or looking to expand accounts, knowing, hearing from your clients, looking at the data, what's working, really creating that unique value proposition that you can sell to go and onboard new clients. But then also from like a strategic standpoint, you'll want to look at, what's your total addressable market. The good thing about sports is you can really sell to anybody. So sometimes it's tough to really niche down and segment and say, all right, we're going to focus here because, there's blue collar workers that purchase sports tickets, there's technology companies, there's insurance companies, banks, like really any industry could purchase. But for your market and for your current customer set, who's purchasing the most? So you'll want to look at that, use different database tools to kind of see, all right, out of the region that we're in or the market that we're in, what percent of this type of company, based on their size, their spend, their industry, maybe unique demographic or firmographic data for their industry, what's the total addressable market, and start to tier those different accounts. So maybe there's 1,000 companies within your total addressable market that fit your ideal customer profile. Take the first third of that and put a priority on that, and you really start to test out campaigns with them, and then work down to your tier 2 and your tier 3 accounts. But when you tier them out and you identify like, here's our target market, make sure you put that data in CRM so you could track that as well. But you want to know what your market share is, and out of all the total accounts, how much of that have we penetrated? And you can track and see the progress of like, all right, we're only at 10% of our current addressable market, but we have a goal over the next 90 days or the next 6 months to get to 50% of it, or 30%, whatever that number is. If you have a starting point, you can then measure it. And if it's tracked in your CRM data, you can see how you're progressing and making sure that you're making the right bets as it relates to your strategy based on your target market. So once you have this data, you're starting to develop your go-to-market strategy, you want to put actionable items into place for your marketing strategy, your marketing efforts. So that means building out your content based on your value proposition, all the data that you found, having a website that's optimized. So if a B2B buyer comes to your website, there's information, there's case studies, there's social proof of things that have worked. I think a lot of times, sports ticket pages just have ticket information and benefits and charts like that. And maybe you have that, buried somewhere on that page if someone is looking for that. A lot of times, most of the people that you're going to be driving to your website aren't currently in market, or they're just, trying to gather information. So you want to have enough for them that if they really needed to, they can get as much information as they can without having to speak to a salesperson, because a lot of B2B buyers want to gather their information on their own and come speak to us when it's time and when they're ready. So on that page, you want a clear call to action at the top of the page above the fold when someone first gets to the page. Speak to our sales team or book a meeting and learn more. And in that form that you get, ideally you can automate that, and that goes directly to your CRM and quickly goes to a rep, because that's another thing that kills sales, is that time between when someone reaches out and when someone inquires and then when a salesperson actually reaches out. You want to make sure that's a pretty quick process, but also on there putting a form or a field that says, how did you hear about us, and make that an open text field so that you can collect that data as well and know which of your marketing efforts are working. There may be some recency bias, or may not know specifically, but at least it's directional and kind of tells you, all right, they heard about us through our LinkedIn page, or they heard about us through an email that we sent, and all right, these efforts, and you can track down the funnel of, are these people purchasing? Are we getting good meetings set? Are these not good leads? And you can know where you can invest your dollars from a marketing standpoint. But then also building out your organic social strategy. Since you're targeting businesses, it's probably going to be more on LinkedIn, but there's also targeting features on Facebook, Instagram, where you can target some of your ideal customers through some of those fields. Are you going to do a paid social strategy? Are you gonna pay to do LinkedIn ads or Facebook or Instagram ads? Like all that, holistically, we need to talk through what your strategy is. And then also events, prospecting events, current client events. How are you leveraging those to either inform people, or are these closing events, and define a strategy for each of those. So that's more out of your go-to-market strategy, what you're going to do on the marketing side. And that has to align with what you're doing on the sales side. So based on all the data you found, having a value proposition that the sales team understands, they know why people are purchasing, what objections they're going to get, and going through and doing, in-depth training with them, and probably combining the sales and marketing teams together to talk through, like, here's the data that we found, here are the insights. So when we're marketing, here's the messaging you want to use. When you talk to a person that either comes inbound or going outbound, here's the talking points that we want to have that we know resonate with our current clients. I think a lot of times salespeople just go out and they just sell, but bringing everyone together and having a clear understanding of, hey, this is the message we're going to go with, this is what we know that resonates, and this is how we think we're going to have the most success, and getting alignment across the key stakeholders, the head of sales, head of marketing, if there's a CMO, a CRO, everyone's aligned on, here's our talking points, here's our messaging, and here's the benefits that we offer to the business community based on the segment of people that we're targeting. Building out collateral that they can use. So obviously we'll have a lot of marketing efforts and marketing collateral, but salespeople need to be armed with that as well, whether it's emails they're sending or talking points they could put in videos that they're going to send to clients. So having collateral there, and then having ways that you can measure that success. So similar to what I talked about before of, market penetration and how much are you growing? What are your goals and targets you want to have for your sales team? How many accounts do you want to reach out to in a given time period? How many of your target accounts do you eventually want to convert when you're getting meetings set? Are they people that are in your target accounts? Are they people that aren't? And really, define what are your key metrics and how are you going to measure success there. So recapping real quick, analyzing the current data that you have, speaking to your current clients, building out a sophisticated go-to-market strategy that aligns your sales efforts, your customer success and expansion efforts, your marketing efforts, and having your analytics and finance and executive team all on board with that, and then getting buy-in from the executives. Coming to them with that plan, making sure there's alignment. And once everyone's aligned, you start going out to market with it. So understanding what tools, what tech stack you may need to add to execute that. Start doing some pilot testing. So maybe do it in a small sample size. Maybe you pick, a third of your reps to focus on this. So you're not completely moving away from your current strategy, and you can see what's working, what's not working, and then slowly start to build from there. But the key from there is making sure that you're always tracking your results. You're always looking to, iterate, optimize that strategy a little bit. And then once you've had, multiple months of data, you've measured it, you see this is working, you really lean into the things that are working for you and look to scale that and do a big audit and assessment of like, we put a lot of effort and energy towards these and these aren't working. And you could take those dollars and reinvest that in other efforts. One of the things I see a lot of companies do is, looking at, where maybe they're overspending on, their sales team members, where they're overspending on, their marketing spend, reallocating those dollars to, build their brand or, create demand and awareness for their products so that, the 95% of your buyers that aren't in market, you look to educate them, you can inform them, whether that's through videos you're putting on your organic social channels. A lot of people, if they're at the point where, they've had a sophisticated plan, they're starting to do, podcasts and doing that on a weekly basis, and they're informing their target market or inviting their current clients or prospective clients to be on the podcast, and they're getting, data there from them, but then also educating their market. But from that research that you do, you'll know where your target accounts consume information and look to make sure that you're distributing the information on those channels and on those platforms where they're going to consume that, so they're more educated when they come into the pipeline. So those are the key takeaways. I think if you're getting started, going by those one by one and, doing, a very thorough process of, analyzing the data and speaking with your clients so that when you go out, this isn't a gut feel. This isn't, all right, this is what I did at, another organization. That's what worked. It may be different depending on your market, the type of people that you're selling, time of the year, all that. So the more information you can get, the better. And then also setting up key processes so you can track that. The challenge I've always seen is, CRM data. There's always a little bit of a mess with it. So if you can get, clear processes that your sales team's following, your revenue operations, your business analytics team has this set up, and all the data that you're collecting, you're tracking correctly in your CRM system, that's going to allow you to, have a proper assessment of what's working and what's not working, and really look to build and scale. So love to get any feedback from that, but appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll be back next week with another video, and hope you guys enjoy. Thanks.